In this Let's Play live stream at Mahjong time, we're going to be playing American Mahjong using the National Mahjong League card. If you haven't tried playing at Mahjong time yet, look for my email in the video description below. I can send you information about their VIP trial. This particular live stream is titled Nitty-Gritty because we're going to dig in to some strategy tonight. And there'll be less socialization compared to Friday nights. If you like hanging out and playing with some commentary but socializing more, look for the Simply Social Let's Play live streams on Friday nights, and you can join us live at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. I want to give a quick shout out to moderators. Their name is in blue in the live chat, so I just want to say thank you so much for helping monitor chat during these live streams. It's a little challenging to play and give commentary and dig into strategy and rules without that support, so I just thank you so much. Welcome to the live stream. Hi Carol, hi JL, welcome. We're going to talk about strategy by wall tonight. This is a really great set of strategies that coincide with the wall in play. The original idea came from Tom Sloper of Sloperama, so a big shout out to Tom. The strategy really resonated with me, so I grabbed hold of it and made it my own, and I'll be sharing that with you tonight. Welcome, Evelyn. Thanks for coming to the live stream. I see we have 7 likes. Thank you so much for the thumbs up. And for anybody who's new to watching these live streams, thank you so much for joining us. I guess we'll go ahead and get started. So we're going to begin with a quick presentation. Well, actually, what we're going to do is we're going to go through the presentation in 3 segments. So it won't be quote unquote quick, but there'll be snippets. So in that sense, it'll be quick. We'll do the begin game, the middle game, and the end game. So we'll kind of alternate between the presentation and the game. So I'm going to go ahead and get this started. Okay, can everybody see the presentation? Strategy by wall. Systematic, tactical, agile. That's why I like this strategy. It makes sense to me, so it really fits in with the way the game is played. That's the systematic part. It's tactical because it is very strategic. You really have to be mindful of what's happening at the table. I like to call that situational awareness. And then it is also agile. One of the strategies that we're going to talk about is staying concealed as long as possible so that you can stay agile. Keep flexibility as part of your plan so that you can switch your hand if you need to. And this particular set of strategies will help you do that. Does anybody have any questions about what we're talking about tonight? Hi Ryan, welcome. Hi Karen, thanks for being here. All right, let's get going. Strategy by wall. Okay, hold on a second. I'm seeing, oh, one second here. What is going on? Let me just make sure people are able to get to this live stream. If anybody clicks that link on Facebook, it will take you to the YouTube channel, and from there just click the live video that's right under my picture. It says live. Just click that video and you'll enter the live stream. That's how that's supposed to work. So this is let's see, hold on one second, let's see here, full screen. Oops, hello. All right, we'll just do full screen. I thought I had my picture in there, but I don't. That's okay. You don't need to see me. All right, is everybody, I see Karen is here. Let's see here. Somebody was having trouble getting here. So let me just see what I can do about that. Let's see here. Okay. Let me just put a quick link on Facebook. Okay. All right. Hopefully people will find us. Okay. All right. Shall we get started? Your mind shut down? What do you mean? Evelyn, are you okay? Are we good to go? We're going to be talking about strategy, lots of strategy tonight. And incidentally, I'm going to have a handout of this presentation for you. So if you want to take notes, of course, feel free, but I will be giving you a handout. Karen was just saying, if somebody is in YouTube before the live stream starts, they might not see it. They should get notification if they're subscribed. Hi Jingles, welcome. Okay, we're good to go. All right, well, let's begin then. So strategy. Strategy is a plan of action designed to achieve a particular goal. There's no right or wrong way, but there is good, better, and best. With strategy, it really comes with experience, but also with style of play. And we'll probably talk a little bit about that as we go. There's no right or wrong, but there is good, better, best, especially with American Mahjong. And we'll talk about that more in a bit. All right, let's go forward. As I was sharing in the beginning, this strategy was inspired by Tom Sloper of Sloperama. If you don't know about this gentleman, he is a Mahjong whiz. He has a website that is full of all kinds of information about Mahjong, not just American Mahjong, but other versions as well, and also history of the game. So if you Google Sloperama or Tom Sloper, you'll find his website. Okay. With strategy by wall, the walls that we're talking about are the 4 walls that the tiles make up before the game starts. The begin game is the first wall. After you deal the tiles, it's a short wall in front of each rack. That's still part of the begin game. So with the begin game, you're going to be working with your dealt hand, the Charleston, and the short wall. Those are the components of the begin game. The middle game is the 3rd wall, and the end game is the 4th wall. We're going to talk about the begin game first. When you get your dealt hand, you want to identify the strength of the hand. If you have multiples, build around multiples first, because American Mahjong is a game of multiples. 86% of the blocks on the card are pungs and kongs, and even quints, even though there are only 4 quints, but really the makeup of those quints are pungs and kongs. So 86% of the blocks on the card are pungs and kongs, and you can put pairs in there as well. So if you start with a pair, build around that pair. Let that be your targeted starting point. If you don't have multiples, choose a category based on the predominant pattern in your hand. And that could be, for example, 2, 4, 6, 8 if you have a lot of evens. If you have a lot of big numbers, let's say 6 through 9, focus there. If you have a lot of odds, focus on that category. During the Charleston, mitigate the risk with each pass. You're not only building your own hand, but you're also trying to mitigate the risk, because your tiles that are going to your opponents could build their hand too. So if you don't pay attention to those passes, you could be helping your opponents. Keep tiles that can be used in the category regardless of suit. So whatever category you're focusing on, gather tiles, every tile that can be used in that category. So for example, if you decided to play 2, 4, 6, 8, you don't need odds and you don't need wins. So those can go right away. You don't even need to take away too much time from the game because you know you don't need wins and odds. So consider the category, gather every tile that can be used in that category regardless of suit. There are way more mixed suit hands on the card than there are one suit. So you want to hold all the tiles regardless of suit. Don't be distracted by suits, one suit in particular. Reassess your hand after each pass, especially if a new multiple forms. Take a breath and reassess and build around the multiples. So if you start out with no multiples and then during the Charleston you end up with a pair, reassess completely and build around that pair. Gather the tiles that can be used to support that pair and then pick a category that uses most of your tiles with that pair and then start gathering again. Play at the category level until there are no discards. This goes into after the Charleston. So we talked about from the onset what to do during the Charleston, and then in this first short wall. Stay at the category level, gather until you run out of discards. You don't have to pick a hand until you run out of discards, especially this early in the game. Once discards start coming out, you may be forced to make a decision and make an exposure, but we can talk more about that as we go. Commit to a category at the end of that short wall. So hopefully when you get through that short wall, you'll be able to commit to one category on the card. Now, these are guidelines. It really is going to depend on the situation, but for the most part, if you can narrow down what you're focusing on to one category by the end of that second wall, then you're going to set yourself up for success for the remainder of the game. So what we're going to do now, let me see. Oh, stay concealed as long as possible. That's the last bullet. Stay concealed as long as possible. I think I mentioned that before. So I'm going to stop the presentation and we're going to go to, let's see here. I want to go to the game. All right, let's see if the live stream catches up to me. Hold on. There's a bit of a lag here. So let's see. Does anybody have any questions about the begin game? All right, why is, there it goes. Okay, so we're going to, for going through this presentation, we're going to go into the school room so that we can play against robots and we can quit after we get through each phase of the game and not affect any real players. Right now, these are the fun games. This is where real players are. We're going to go to Mahjong school, and then we're going to go into a random wall here, a practice wall, or practice random wall is what it's called. So we're going to go into there and start a game, and we're just going to focus on the begin game. Hi, Deborah. Welcome. Do you go by Deborah or Debbie? Hi, Jocelyn. Welcome. Okay, so we're talking about the begin game. This includes the onset, which is where we're at right now. We have our dealt hand. So you can see that we have mixed suits and we do have a multiple. This is part of the begin game strategy to build around multiples. So whatever we play, we're going to use those nines. So we're going to keep the nines, and then we're going to look at the rest of our tiles and keep as many as possible to support the multiple, and then pick a category that uses most of our tiles. And what I see here is 3, 6, 9. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tiles We may or may not be able to use a dragon. Not sure yet. We'll have to wait and see. But because we can use dragons in mixed suits in the 369 category, we should keep them. That's one of the bullets in the begin game. Gather for the category. If you can use a tile in that category, keep that tile. Don't worry about suit, corresponding dragons or not. Just gather them all till you run out of discards. Then what you're going to do, let me make sure, hold on. Here we go. Now you can see me. Hello. Okay, so as you're gathering tiles, when you run out of discards, then you're going to whittle down and try to zero in on maybe a particular hand as opposed to just staying at the category level. So let's do that. So we're going to keep 369. We're going to keep the dragons. We can definitely let the wins go because there are no wins in 369. There's also no ones or twos or fours. In order to pass defensively, which is another strategy in the begin game, pass defensively, here we have a 1-4 south. And the number tiles are in two different suits. That's a really great way to start. And incidentally, I thought there was I think the priority of what to pass was not in that presentation. So the priority that I think about is you want to try not to pass one suit, or let's see, we'll start at the top. Try to pass a wind and two number tiles in different suits, like this right here. This would be a great pass. It's very defensive. After that, you can maybe pass different number tiles in mixed suits, and then maybe try not to pass all one suit. Try not to pass one category, one whole category. If you do have to pass something that might be a bit risky, at least try to use mixed suits. I try very rarely to pass like numbers because they're almost as risky as passing a pair. And then I try very rarely to pass a pair or a flower. And also white dragons. The reason why you don't want to pass white dragons is because it's a dual tile. It can be used as a 0, and it can also be used as a dragon. And if you look at the year category, you can see the white dragon is used in there, but also that white dragon can be used in every category on the card as being a dragon and not so much a 0. So white dragons are typically a riskier tile to pass. So if you don't have to pass it, don't, and then discard it early on. Okay, so let me check the chat. Does anybody have any questions? Yeah, these points will come out in the game. I'm just giving the overview right now. So here we have a South 1-4. We're going to pass those. This is a really good pass. And we are keeping 369. So we're just going to hoard 369. If we build another multiple, we'll reassess. So here we have another 9. Now in the 369 category, there is, let's see, one hand that uses, no. There are two hands that use double 9s. It would be the third hand from the bottom, 3-6 Kong in one suit, and then pungs of 9s in two other suits, or the concealed hand. The concealed hand does not use flowers, so I probably would not think about playing that hand. So at this point, we would probably commit to, let's say, that third hand from the bottom, but we don't have the right tiles for that. What we need is 3-6 in cracks, and we don't have either. So with that, I would think about switching categories. In order to use the multiples, I would switch to like numbers with 9s and dragons at this point. So that means the dragons we're going to keep, and we're not going to give those away. We'll keep the 9s right there. And now we have tiles we can pass. So once you make a decision, then you'll be able to look at the remaining tiles and then mitigate the risk by picking tiles that will be in the pass together and have a benign effect. You want it to mitigate as much as possible. So I initially picked 3-4 in BAMs and then an 8 crack. This would be risky because the 3-4 right now would be in one suit. You really don't want to do that if you don't have to. So I would keep the 3 BAM and maybe let the 3 dot go instead. At least the 3-4 would be in 2 different suits. You'd think, well, why not do 4-6-8? That would be one category. 3-4-8 would be consecutive run with 2 tiles, maybe evens with 2 tiles. You could even maybe pass, let's say 2-8, let's say 6, but then that would leave you with 2 3s and a 4. So sometimes you want to think a pass ahead, because if we get everything we want, we need to have tiles that we can pass, and I don't want to pass like numbers. So with this situation, I would let a 3 go so that I'm not stuck with like numbers. So I would probably here pass 3-4-8. And I think that is the most defensive pass with these tiles. And that's the way you want to think about it, because every pass is going to have some level of risk regardless. So you just want to mitigate the risk. There's going to be risk. You just want to mitigate it. Lessen the potential for someone that you're passing it to have those as keepers for their hand. So 3-4-8, this is a little bit risky because 3-4 are consecutive, but at least they're in 2 suits. So that's what we're going to go with here. Let's see. I just want to check on chat. It's hard to pass defensive when no one else at the table is passing defensively. Well, that can be a challenge, but the onus is on you as the player. So if you're passing defensively and nobody else is, at least you're doing your part. The fact that other people are not, it's going to help your opponents. I know what you're saying though. Like if we have someone at the table who does not pass defensively, they could pass like numbers. They could even pass a pair. They could pass all wins. They could pass a flower. You really can't control that. You just want to pass as defensively as you can from your part, from your side of the table. Just try to think about that more than how other people are passing. So here we're going to pass 3-4-8. We've got one of each suit. Oh, thank you, Sylvie. Okay, so now we have 2-3 in cracks, 6 dot, 3-5-7 in BAMs. Our multiples are with 9s. One thing I would consider is maybe keeping the odds for big odds, 5, 7, 9. In this case though, it really won't help with the particular combinations on the card here in this case, but we do have tiles we can pass and still keep them. Here's 2, 6, and 3, 2, 3, 6. That's not too bad. So let's pass those. Hi Kathleen, welcome. We're talking about strategy by wall tonight. Okay, now here we have another 9. So there's a 9. We did get an 8. There's 7, 8, 9 building now. So let's look at what we have. We have 2 clear discards, 1 and 3. These we know can go. And we're going to have to make a decision to either keep the 8 or maybe keep big odds. I think we definitely have discards, so we should keep going. We have at least 4 or 5 discards, so we should not stop the Charleston. If you're between hands or between categories, don't stop the Charleston. Keep going. So we're going to keep going. We're going to pass 1, 3, and then let's say the 7. I think actually the 5. Now this would be very risky. 1, 3, 5. So I think what I would do here is focus on like numbers with 9s, because that would allow me to then pass defensively, more defensively than passing 1, 3, 5. This would be a very risky pass. So instead of passing 1, 3, 5, maybe we could pass 137, or maybe we could pass, let's say 158. 158 might even be better, because if we did 137, we're passing two little numbers, 1 and 3 in one suit. That could help somebody in a consecutive hand. That could help somebody in little odds, and the 7 is an odd. So instead, if we pass 158, we have mixed suits with the 1 and the 5, and they're far apart. Someone could be playing little odds, true. They're in 2 different suits. That's the best we can do there. But then we have the 8 band. There's only maybe 2 hands that can use 5-8 in one suit in consecutive run. So I don't think that's too awful bad. So 158, I think it's the most benign pass we can make with our tiles. And that's the goal. You look at the tiles remaining and you make as benign a pass as possible. And that's what we've done here. So I'm going to do that. Again, there's going to be risk in every pass. You just accept it and do the best you can with what you've got. Okay, let's see. Okay, Ryan, you take advantage of other players' bad passes. Yeah, LOL. True. I mean, if their bad passes fit into your hand, of course, keep them. But try not to pass that bad pass along, because somebody else that you're giving that to, they could really utilize that bad pass. So even though it won't help your hand, still look at your discards and pass tiles that are as benign as possible as a total pass. So here we have a lot of cracks. We have 3 cracks and 2 bams. We have 3, 6, 8 in cracks, 4, 7 in bams. So out of here, I probably would pass 3, 8, and 4. 3, 8, 4. And that's because the 3 and the 4 are 2 different suits, and then the 8 and 3 can't be used together. Maybe the 4, 8 could be used together in an even hand. But if we were to, let's say, pass 3, 6 in one suit with a 4, somebody could play consecutive, or 3, 6, 9. If we passed even, let's say, 6, 7, 8, that's consecutive run. That's one category. So I would break it up as much as I can. And I think 3, 8, 4 is the best pass we can do here. So we're going to pass that. You want to build your hand first. Your hand is the priority. So build your hand and focus there. And then with whatever's remaining, pass as defensively as possible. All right, so here we have tiles we can pass again. We have 3, 7... Let's see now, this is interesting. How about 2, 3, 6? I think 2, 3, 6 is probably the best we can do. At first I thought, okay, what about 3, 7, and a 2? We have 3, 7 in one suit for odds. We have 2, 3 consecutive. So it's a bit risky. So then I kind of reassess and think, okay, what about 3, 7? Let's see, what about 2, 5, 7? Or what about 2, 3, 6? Here's something that I think about with 3, 6, 9. If I have all risky tiles like this right here, we have 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. That's all kind of screaming consecutive run. So I think about the 3, 6, 9 category. That is one of the toughest categories on the card, because you're working only with 3 numbers. So if I'm going to do a risky pass and I can make it in the 3, 6, 9 category, I'll do that, because it's a tough category. You have to have a really good representation with 3, 6, 9 to make that a hand in that category work. So I think using 3, 6 would be the least of all evils in this case. So that's what we're going to pass here. Okay, no keepers here. So we have a little number, we've got some middle numbers here, and a big number. So I would, okay, so our robot here wants to do 3. We have 5 discards, so I think we can do 3. We have a 7, let's say 7. Oh, we need to say 3. We can totally do 3. You might think, why not hold the 5, 7, 9? I think we have no gaps for like numbers with 9s. So that's where I would focus. And I would want to pass fully to see if we can get another 9 or maybe another dragon. So here I would pass the big number, a little number, and something in the middle, like the 4. 1, 4, 7. Because you can't, there's only one hand you can use with 4 and 7, and that would be 4, 5, 6, 7 in one suit, pung, pung, kong, kong, or maybe the pair hand, but that's 2 out of 60 some hands. So I don't think that's too risky. So that's what I would pass here. Oh, thank you, Sylvie. That's very nice. Okay, no 9s. So we have 5 discards here. 5 discards. And here's our short wall. We're going to play now with this short wall, and then we're going to go back to the presentation and talk about the middle game strategies. So here too, you need to think about where the wall was broken if you play with the dice, which you should because it is a league rule. So we have 3 tiles here, so you'll want to take these off the end. So really the middle, the begin game will end with the 3 tiles going into this wall right here. So probably right around where the B is for Mickey Bot, right there as well where we'll end with the begin game. And then we'll jump back to the presentation and then pick up for the rest of the game. All right, so we're east, so we're going to discard. And when you the first couple rounds of discards are going to be, there's no strategy involved in what to discard first as far as the blank table. Like you don't have any frame of reference on what would be the best discard at the moment. So one strategy that I like to use is called outside in. And that is to optimize your potential to obtain or to do a joker exchange when someone has an exposure with a joker. And because the consecutive run is numbered 1 through 9, the middle numbers are going to be used most often. Let's say 3 through 7. So if you start by discarding these edge tiles that you're not using, those would be a good place to start. So I usually start with wins if I'm not using them, dragons if I'm not using them, 2s if I'm not using them because of the year category in that big year hand, and then I start with 1s and 9s. So 1, 9, 2, 8, and then go in. So in this case, I would let the 1 crack go as my first discard. It kind of makes the choice easy when you think about outside in. And again, it would be tiles you're not going to use. Clearly, if I'm playing something that's going to use a 1, I'm not going to discard it. Okay, now here's something a bit interesting. We do have some consecutive tiles building with the receipt of that 8. So maybe we can keep that a little bit. If we get the 7s, we could maybe play the concealed consecutive hand. So let's just keep those. We still have discards we can let go of. So let's discard this 3 crack.
3 characters.
1 bamboo. 4 bamboos.
Okay, we got a lot of little numbers out. A lot of little numbers going down.
6 characters.
There's a middle number, 6 crack. And we got a joker. All right, so let's discard one of the 5s. Now here, because of this joker, I probably would consider playing the consecutive concealed hand because we have the singles and we don't have a pair yet established with our joker, our dragons. Let's see, so we can let this 5 go, I think.
5
so with like numbers and dragons, you have 2 pair there. I wouldn't commit to a hand if it requires 2 pair and I have none established in my hand. Once I have one of the pair, then I'll go hard at the hand. But until then, I'm going to hold back a little bit, because if you commit by making exposures and you don't have a pair yet, if somebody makes a Kong with a Joker with one of your dragons, you're stuck. So if your hand needs 2 pair, don't commit by taking a discard to make an exposure just because you can, and you still yet need to get your pairs. So be mindful of that. At least for the concealed hand, we have our singles. We do have gaps, no 7s, but we have a Joker, and you can use Jokers with those 7s in this case, because the 7s would be pungs. So we can use any number of Jokers for the 7s. So there's 2 4-bams out, so we're gonna discard those. We have 2 more picks, and then we're going to be in the middle game, and the strategies change.
1 dot.
4 characters.
Pawn.
Okay, we got skipped. We're looking for 9s or dragons, or maybe a 7.
Red dragon.
A 7-bam or 7 dot, I would maybe think about changing. So now a red dragon went down. That's one of our pair tiles. We have to be mindful of that. Clearly we cannot take it, so we're going to pass.
3 bamboos.
Okay,
Green
they
dragon.
got a Joker exchange.
Pawn.
Oh, there's a dragon pung with 2 Jokers. Now there's another dragon tile out there. We need that. So there's another thing to be mindful of. This game requires situational awareness. You want to watch the discards, especially if you need pairs. So we're going to be mindful of that.
5 characters.
Okay, now East we do not want. We're not playing any wins, so we're going to let that go. Now nobody has discarded wins yet. We're playing against robots, and by the way, they're dumb. They're dumb robots here on this platform.
South wind.
But
North wind.
these players on the right and left could be playing the
Green
east-west or
dragon.
north-south with a run hand, is what I'm thinking,
East
maybe. Well, they may have changed. Okay, now, look, we've got one of our pairs. Now I would go hard with the like numbers with 9 hand. And I would probably
6
give up
dots.
on these 8s now, because we've secured one of the 2 pair. So we have 9
8
dot
dots.
and then the white dragon. Okay, there's an 8 dot we're going to pass. Here's the 9 crack with a red dragon. We can use the Joker
Red
for the
dragon.
9 crack. Okay, now there are 2 red dragons out. Our options are dwindling. We need to act on this now. It's going to be a bit risky. Okay, here's another interesting situation. We've got a white a flower. So with this flower, we can maybe switch to the 3rd hand down under like numbers and use the red dragon with Jokers and Kongs of 9s. So I would keep that flower and let an 8 go.
8 bamboos.
7 characters.
Okay, so we need to be hyper vigilant on that red
2
dragon.
bamboos.
I'm hoping we'll draw it.
5 dots.
Okay, 2 dot we don't need.
2 dots.
Thanks for coming to the live stream, and thank you for the thumbs up, by the way.
2 characters.
Tonight is Nitty-Gritty. We're digging into strategy tonight, strategy by wall. There'll be less socialization in chat. Please
2
keep the
bamboos.
conversation about strategy that we're working on tonight. And if you want to enjoy the socialization, that's Friday night.
7 bamboos.
This is Nitty-Gritty. Nitty-Gritty Let's Play live stream.
Flower.
Oh, that's a pass. So we're kind of in between the 2nd hand
North
down
wind.
under like numbers and the 3rd hand down.
Kong.
We're in between at the moment. Now there's the north-south.
Flower.
North-south with a run. This is the player who had the wins. Now the player to our right
7
might be playing
bamboos.
east and west, because there are not very many wins
4
out.
dots.
Let's see, are there 2 2s and 2 3 cracks are out
1
right
dot.
now. And there's 1 south
5
out.
dots.
Okay, we're looking for the red dragon. Oh, there's a south. Now it looks like they threw the south. Now they're not smart.
South wind.
Okay. That
9
was a
bamboo.
little bit scary. Okay, here we have to make a choice. In this case, though, we need a Kong of that tile for both hands. We're in between the second hand down and the third hand down under like numbers. So we're going to go ahead and Kong. We can commit to a Kong with the 9 bam.
Kong.
And now we'll let the 8 dot go.
8 dots.
So here, if a 9 crack goes
9
down,
characters.
there it is. We can pung and be ready to win on the red dragon. There are 2 out. A lot of people might think that, well, she's clearly not playing that because we're still in. Oh, I forgot we were supposed to go back to the middle game. We're going to pung.
Pung.
Okay, and then I'm going to stop here. I forgot we're supposed to go back to the presentation. Let's just do that really quick. So we're going to talk now about, we already burned through part of the wall. I get so excited about the game. So let's quickly just catch up to the strategy for the middle game. Okay, so hopefully it'll catch up. I just want to check out chat while the live stream catches up. Okay, so middle game. Here are the objectives for the middle game. Discard fresh tiles by the end of the third wall, because they're going to get more and more risky when you start going into the end game. So think about the fresh tiles, but you might be able to get joker exchanges with those fresh tiles. So it's a balancing act. Think about that outside in strategy and hold numbers, let's say 3 through 7, and then go in. So discard 1, 2, 9, 8. Try to keep those inside tiles because you might be able to do a joker exchange. That particular strategy takes a lot of fancy footwork. You've really got to watch exposures and discards in order to apply that strategy correctly. And I have several videos that go into that outside in strategy. So if you search my channel for that, you'll find those videos. Avoid claiming a discard until you're ready to commit to a hand. We did that. I talked about not committing to that like number hand with dragons until we had one of the 2 pairs secured. That would be an example of this particular strategy. Confirm exposed versus concealed before calling a discard. We were in the like number category, and those are all exposable. We were playing at a moment the concealed consecutive hand, but we had 2 gaps, no 7s. So we were there briefly and then switched to like numbers where everything was exposable. Watch what other players are discarding and exposing to identify the family or category they're playing in, and then adjust your hand accordingly. The exposures that were out at the table were 3s, 4s, and then I forget what the one was across from us, but it wouldn't affect our 9s. Discard joker bait and flowers not needed by the end of the third wall. This is really risky tiles, which would be flowers and fresh tiles. You want to make sure you discard those before the end of the third wall, and we'll talk about that when we get back to the game. Joker bait is a whole different strategy. I don't remember if it's in here. The best time for joker bait is the middle of the third wall, which is where we are right now in the game. Right now we don't have any joker bait, so it won't apply to this particular hand, but later tonight hopefully we'll do an example of joker bait. It's basically where you hold on to a pair that you don't need, and then in the middle of the middle game you discard one, and then one of your opponents will make an exposure with a joker, and on your next turn you make the exchange. So hopefully we'll get to demonstrate that. Commit to a single hand before the end of the third wall. That's to optimize your potential to win. You can zero in on a hand if you're able to. Redeem jokers from other players' hands to prevent someone else from benefiting. This applies primarily to the number of jokers in the exposure and Pung versus Kong and what is out. Basically, if someone has, let's say, a Kong with 2 jokers and you have one of the tiles, or let's say a pung with a joker and you have one, you could make the exchange. You have to be mindful though, you don't want to make your opponent jokerless. So leave a joker visible in exposures. Don't take the last joker visible. You could be making your opponent's hand pure, which will double the value of their hand. Oh, and there it is. Leave at least one joker amongst others' exposures to avoid paying for a jokerless hand. All right, we're going to switch back to the game now and finish the end game. So we have to discard. I'm going to discard this flower, and we're ready to win on a red dragon. So the third wall is going to end right where this split is, basically. So if you have fresh tiles or a flower, or even let's say a white dragon that you're not going to use, you want to get rid of it now. This is when you would want to discard those risky tiles, because you don't want to have risky tiles in your hand going into the end game. The reason for that is that people will have had all this time to build their hand, and if you're holding on to fresh tiles or risky tiles like flowers and white dragons, then you're going to go into the end game with those risky tiles, and people will then be more ready to win than before. So you want to be mindful of the fresh tiles in your hand. In this case, we have only one discard. We're ready to win, so we're going to play to win. We have probably 2 more picks, and then we'll be in the end game. And that's when you have 40 tiles left. If you're playing online and you have a counter, 40 tiles left in the game would be the end game. So we're going to discard this north. We don't need to do a joker exchange here because we're ready to win on a pair.
North wind.
Three characters.
So we're looking for a red dragon. And we have a pure hand here, by the way.
8 characters.
So they're playing 4, 5, 6, 7 mixed suit. Pung, pung, kong,
7
kong.
bamboos.
We don't know what the player across from us is playing yet. Clearly they're not playing dragons
5
because they discarded dragons. Well, there's a 7 dot. Okay, now here's an interesting idea. We could do a joker exchange and then discard a joker. Some people might think, well, that would be a safe discard because you can't take a joker that's discarded. But it could also maybe make their hand pure. So in this case, we're not going to do that. We're going to discard it.
7 dots.
Especially if you're playing in a tournament, you do not want to make, chance making a hand pure, because that will double the value of their hand.
White dragon.
Leave a joker exposed. We're looking for a red dragon to win a pure hand here.
8 bamboos.
Okay, 8 dot is out.
8 dots.
Oh, okay, now we're going to stop now. We're at 40.
North
We'll wait till our turn, and then we're going to go back and talk about end game
Flower.
strategies, because they're different. And note that we're ready to win. Okay, so
East
there's
wind.
more jokers. Okay, they have 4. They're playing the dragon
5
hand, and they
bamboos.
discarded dragons early on. Okay, we're gonna stop here. We did get a 9 dot, by the way, but we don't need it. We're gonna jump over to the presentation now and talk about, the end game. Okay, so now I just want to check on chat. How's everything going here? I hope you all are enjoying this deep dive into strategy by wall. Okay. So I think the stream caught up. All right, now, these are the strategies when you're in the last wall, which is where we are right now. Here are the objectives. Play to win or switch to defense. This is the decision that you need to make at this point. You want to decide if you're going to switch to defense, and typically, let's go through this sub list and see if I cover everything as to what will help you make that decision. You want to count the cost, of course. If you're going to play to win, you're going to need to count the cost of those discards, because what happens, like right now, we're ready to win. If we draw let's say, a white dragon and our opponent across from us is playing the all dragon hand. Actually, they have 4 flowers and a pung of dragons. They could be playing a consecutive hand. They could be playing the second hand from the bottom under consecutive run, which is probably what they're doing, as opposed to playing the all dragon hand. But they're a dumb robot, and maybe they're playing the all dragon hand and they just discarded those dragons early. Let's see, I don't think there's any other hand they could be playing with a Kong of flowers and green dragons like that. It's either the second hand from the bottom or the under consecutive run, or the second hand from the top under winds and dragons. So the first bullet here is count the cost as to whether you're going to play to win or switch to defense. Assess the viability of your hand, and I think our hand is viable. There's one more red dragon. It may be in the wall, and we don't know yet if another player is holding it, the player across from us specifically. But because there are 2 out, I'm thinking that they might think it's safe. So I would say I think our hand is viable. Assess the viability of your opponent's hands. So you want to look at what the exposures are out there and see what is their chance of winning, especially if you draw one of their tiles. Consider hand values, your own and others. So we're playing a 25-point hand, but it's jokerless, so that is a 50-point hand. I'm going to do everything I can to play to win. Our opponents are all playing, I think, 24 or 25-point hands. You want to prioritize discards if you have a handful of them. Hopefully you have less than 4 at this stage. If I have 3 tiles or less at this stage, I will play to win. In this case, we're ready, so I'm going to play to win. As far as prioritizing discards, decide what to keep based on the discards or exposures, especially if you're switching to defense. You want to make sure that you're looking at the discards and the exposures to try to figure out what your opponents are playing so that you can keep those risky tiles. Discard flowers before the last 28 tiles unless it's obvious that nobody is going to be using them. I think we have a Kong out with jokers right now, and the other 2 players, I don't remember what the player to the right, oh no, the player to the right is not using flowers, the player to the left is not using flowers, and the player across from us has an exposure already of 4 flowers with or without jokers. So we know that flowers at this point are going to be safe discards. Discard safe tiles last, including jokers, which cannot be called. And then here's what you want to think about playing with playing defense. Avoid calling an exposure if you cannot win. I have heard that some people say that they'll do that as a I guess a bluff, but I personally don't play that way. I want to hold every tile I can, because anytime you expose tiles, you give away information. If I know I cannot win and I expose a pung of 8s, let's say, well then that could affect an opponent for assessing their ability to win, because I just gave out more information. If they needed 8s, or let's say they needed 7s and 9s, big odds, and I put 8s out, well, maybe they'll think, okay, the consecutive opportunity is dwindling, maybe big odds will be good, I'm going to play to win. So whatever exposures you put out, that's giving away information. So if you know you cannot win, hoard your tiles. That's my opinion. Avoid calling an exposure with available joker exchanges. So let's say in the end game you need to Kong, and you have 2 tiles, and someone throws one of your tiles. You would make an exposure with a joker. You need to count the cost of exposing that, because somebody else could get a joker exchange in the end game, and it could be a winning tile for them. Discard safe tiles that have been exposed or discarded. I need to clean this up a little bit. Discard number tiles where 3 are out or in hand, except your tiles and wins. So this is where you want to discard as safely as possible. This year, every tile is risky. There's a single or pair of every tile in the set this year. So there's no safe tiles. Any single tile can give somebody a win. You just want to do your best to discard as safely as you can with the information that you're given, and count the cost and then accept the consequences. Okay, so that ends that presentation. So let's continue with the game now. So we're in the end game now. We have one discard because we're ready to win. So we're going to let this go.
9 dots.
We're looking for a red dragon.
West wind.
Oh, it is a Kong of Flowers here. Kong of Flowers
4
with
characters.
jokers. Yeah, I don't know why there was a hesitation there. There's 4 cracks
7
over here.
characters.
We got it. Okay, so Mahjong. We got a Mahjong. And it'll be a pure hand. And you'll see when we look at the table, you'll see that these robots are not smart. They're intentionally this way because the owner of this platform wants beginners to build their confidence and feel encouraged. And that's why they're at the moment, they're dumb robots. Okay, so we have like numbers with 9s and dragons here. And the opponent over here, see, they have garbage in their hand. Here, garbage. They could have exchanged jokers. So the benefit of playing in Mahjong school at Mahjong time is decision making for your own hand. Not so much you can still try to figure out what the robots are playing, but more likely than not, especially in the end game, their hands are going to be garbage. But really what you want to focus on is decision making, good decision making, and that's why you want to play in Mahjong school, just to build your confidence with decision making for your own hand. Okay. All right, we are going to now play with real people, and we're going to talk about strategy by wall throughout, from beginning to end, with real people. Any questions? Thank you, Carol. And thank you for coming to the live stream. Thank you for the thumbs up. Let's go ahead and join a table. Again, we're going to be playing with real people now. So we'll join this table here. I forgot to make a fresh drink. Babe? Honey, would you mind making me a fresh drink? I forgot. Honey to the rescue. You're going to have to come in here and say hi now. This is my husband, Dave. Say hi, honey. Oh,
Hi,
here,
honey.
there you go. You're right. See, look in there.
there
There we
I
go.
am.
There he is. This is my husband, Dave.
Yep.
Thank you. You know
Cheers,
where
honey.
everything is? Yeah, my mix is in that top narrow container. Okay. He is a sweetie. He's a keeper. Thank you, Jingles. Yes, the school does allow you to go slow. I like to use it for teaching and coaching. But there you can do that with other platforms too. But I prefer Mahjong time, clearly. All right, we are playing a real game now. Real people, smart people. So what do we have to work with here? This will be interesting because we have 2 multiples, but they don't necessarily go together. We have a joker, flower, pair 7 bams, 4 9 in cracks, 3 5 7 in dots, white dragon, and a pair of souths. So our multiples are with the 7 and the south. So I would keep them both and see how the hand develops. Now, with the remaining tiles, I want to build around the number tile because they're more flexible than wins. And we don't know if wins are going to come around. So I think we should keep the 5 7, big odds.
Half a packet or whole packet?
Whole. Thank you. Okay, so now we have 4, 3, and white dragon. I would not pass this. I would not do that. I would give up the south, and I would keep the odd numbers, odd tiles. I would not pass 3 dot white and a 4. That would be risky. Okay, so here we have 2, 4, 9. We're playing big odds right now, so we're going to hold all big odds. And that would be every tile we can use in that category. Right now, for this year, the dragon hand is matching. So if we were to keep that white dragon for a 5, 7, 9 hand, we'd have to throw away a pair of 7s. Here, and by the way, we did get a multiple, the 4 dot. But we have way more tiles with big odds than the 4s, so I would let it go. Thank you, honey. Oh, Riley's probably, oh, there he is. Oh, he had his nails clipped. Okay, so now we have an 8. So this would be something to consider, 7, 8, 9. 7, 8, 9 is much more flexible than big odds. And because we have like numbers here, I would not pass this. Instead, I would give up on probably the 5 and pass 4, 5 south and focus on 7, 8, 9. 7, 8, 9. We could maybe do the mixed suit Kong hand. That would be the 3rd hand down on the right. No keepers. We have discards here, so we can just let these go. Oh, we definitely want to keep going. We have lots of discards right now. If you end up with 4 discards or less at the end of the Charleston, I would say that was good decision making. He's stealth, Riley. Yes. All right, we're looking for 7, 8, 9 now. We got a 5 again. Because we have tiles to pass here, 6, 1, 4, or a south 1, 4, I would keep the 5 because we could still go back to 5, 7, 9. So I would pass 1, 4 together. That's not too bad. To span 1, 4, there may be 3 hands, 3, 4 hands. Really 1, 2, 3, 4 hands out of 60. So I would risk it. And that's what you want to do. You want to think about the risk and then accept the consequences. Because there's going to be risk in every pass, as I was sharing before. Okay, now we're going back to 5, 7, 9. We have really one tile in here that leads us to a consecutive hand. So I would focus back on 5, 7, 9. And your hand might go back and forth between categories, and that's okay. You want to try to go with what you have the most of supporting your multiple. In this case, I think 5, 7, 9 would be ideal with these tiles. I wouldn't pick a hand yet, but if I had to, I probably would be looking at the second hand from the bottom under odds. Here we have tiles we can pass. South 1, 4. So I would pass fully. But when I play this game, I do not offer my optional first. I wait. And I'm reactive. I want to wait and see what my opponent wants and then respond. So in this case, they want to, and we can do too. And incidentally, especially in a tournament, I don't want to make the offer first. And of course, you don't want to delay the inevitable. If they delay, you might want to go ahead and offer. But I try to wait a little bit to give them time to make the offer so that I can react. And that way I'm not giving away information about my own hand. If they want 2 and I want 3, well, I'm telling them that I have an extra tile still to get rid of. Whereas if I wait and just hold my breath a minute, they say 2, I'd say, oh, okay, I can do 2. Well, they don't need to know that I have another tile that I still need to get rid of. It's not, a huge strategy, but when you add everything together, it's still information that can tell others about where you are in building your hand. Oh, so here, 1, 4, that's not bad. Wins were not really going around. So because 1, 4 is in 2 suits and it's far apart, I would go ahead and let that be my pass. Okay, we ended up getting an East and a 4, so that was a safe pass. So here, we're going to talk about discards now. We have our category. We're playing big odds. I would not commit to a hand.
Bamboo.
We could maybe even switch to like numbers with 7s.
South wind.
We're not using wins, and one player's discarded them, so those are going to go first. We got a 5, and even though that 5 crack doesn't look like it fits with what we have, it's an odd tile, so we should keep it. Just keep every tile you can use in the category. This is playing at the category level. We haven't even picked a hand yet. We're just gathering. Gather till you run out of discards. Then start looking at what hand you're going to play.
8 dots.
And this can help with quicker decision making. Okay, here is potential joker bait. You can see there are 3 souths out. We're going to keep that east pair. And I'm going to put it over here to the left just to keep it to the side so we don't, discard it willy-nilly. We want to hold that because somebody might be playing east-west or maybe even a quint. Who knows? So we're going to pass on the white and probably escalate that now as a discard.
1 dot.
So we're still gathering 5 through 5, 7, 9. There's a 5. We're going to keep it. And I think because the white was discarded and we really don't need it at the moment, we should go ahead and let it go. So I was thinking at first playing 5, 7, 5, 7, 9, second hand from the bottom on the right. But now we do have potential for the mixed suit hand, second hand on the right. So here an east is going down, we can pass. Nobody wanted it, so now we can escalate that, and it won't be good joker bait probably.
6 dots.
The hesitation was probably us, so I would say those probably can go.
Red dragon.
So they're probably not going to be good joker bait. All right, so I'd rather keep the number tiles because those are going to be more likely in exposures with jokers. So we're going to keep the number tiles instead of the wins.
North wind. West wind.
Here we could play as easily like numbers with 5s or like numbers with 7s as another option. East is out. We can let that go. A green dragon is out and white dragons are down, so probably that will go next.
8 bamboos.
Not much of a hesitation on there. One thing you can monitor is the hesitations on discards online, but you can also use that in person. If somebody says wait or wait, well, they have interest in that tile and you can keep track of those hesitations. We're going to let the green dragon go. So now we have another multiple, a 9 crack. In this case, it's not too helpful. I'm thinking 5, 7, 9 and mixed suits, but we're still going to gather. We don't have to pick a hand. We still have a discard. There's another potential keeper. We'll let the 8 dot go. Now, we have all big odds now. We have no discards. This is when you start looking at what hand you're going to play. We have no discards. Drill into what hand you could play. We could play either 5, 7, 5, 7, 9, second hand from the bottom, and we don't have our pairs in the right tiles. So I would not take that 7. I think what I would play instead would be 5, 7, 9 and mixed suit Kongs, 5, 7, 9. And probably the 9 cracks will go.
Green dragon.
So let's just wait and see. We still don't have to make a decision yet.
9
Let's see what we get. Okay, so there's a tile that we could call, but we don't even know what hand we're playing yet. I would not call that just because. And we don't have our 5s paired up with the right suit to use those 9s. Okay, now here's an interesting tile. I think we should let the 9 cracks go. We can still play 5, 7, 9 in mixed suits, 5 crack, 7 bam, 9 dot. But now we have 5, 6, 7. 5, 6, 7, but probably not.
5 dots.
I think, okay, so we're going to let that go. I think maybe the 6 bam can go. I think we're set up pretty nicely for that odd hand. We have no gaps, and there's a 9 dot, so that will help us with that particular hand. So I would say
9
579 mixed suit Kongs, second hand
4
from the
dots.
top on the right would be a hand we could play. And
2
we still
dots.
have a discard, so we really don't have to pick a hand still, but it's shaping up to be
1
that
bamboo.
hand. There's no gaps. Let's discard this 6 dot. Now here's something
6
interesting.
bamboos.
Maybe we could switch back to 57579 because we've got one of the pairs
Westwood.
with the 5 crack. We could do 5 crack, 7 crack.
6
We could even
characters.
maybe pung that 7. There's only one out. And then we have 5 bam, 7 bam. We just need one pair there with the 5 bam.
9
And then we would
dots.
need the 9 dot. Either way, we could Kong that. Let's go ahead and Kong the 9 dot.
Kong.
So we could play 579 mixed suit Kongs or 5-7, 5-7-9 in bams, cracks, and dots. So the 5-7 in the dots can go.
5 dots.
So now this 7 will go next. And we're in between 2 hands.
5 dots. 8 characters.
So right now we can't call any, oh no, we could maybe call the 7 bam, but we'll see.
3 dots.
They're both 25-point hands, so I don't think that it's gonna matter either way.
3
We're set up really for
characters.
both. Okay, so we're in the end, or we're in the middle game. So we have a winner in the middle game, all cracks, and they had one of the 5s, incidentally. One suit with nice jokers there, nice win. One suit, 1 through 5. Over here we have 3, 4, 5, 6, probably 3, 4, 5 Kongs, I would think. 3, 4, 5 Kongs with flowers, maybe. They might have been hoping for green dragons, but they were going down. And over here we have a 3-6-9 hand, the first one probably. 3-6-6-9, 2 suits. All right, let's play again. Let's jump over here and see if Marsha will follow us. Oh, here we go. Okay, so begin game, we start all over. Just shake the dust off your feet and go into the next game. Try not to carry a loss from game to game. Let it go. This is a whole new journey right now. Especially if you're playing in a tournament. Just let it go. Don't overanalyze. Don't overthink it. Start fresh. Okay, so we have 9 bam, 9 crack pair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, and dots. Look at that run there. 1 through 5, 1 through 6. Single dragons, red and white, and then a south. I think the south can go. Our pair is with the 9, so we should think about using that. We could play like numbers with 9s. We could maybe play 3, 6, 9. So I'm going to let the 1 go. And then maybe the 5. Or maybe, let's say, the 4. 1, 4 south. And you would think, well, why not play 1 through 6 or 1 through 5? Our multiple is with the 9. American Mahjong is a game of multiples, so you want to build around the multiple. And here we have an 8. That could help us consecutive, with a consecutive option. I would pass 1 wind at a time. We're going to keep 3, 6, 9, so maybe the 2 and the 5 can go. So we could either play 3, 6, 9 or 6, 7, 8, 9. Thanks for coming to the live stream. Thank you for the thumbs up. We're talking about strategy by wall. If you're just joining us, we're in the begin game. Part of the Charleston is part of the begin game. So the goal here is to build your hand while passing defensively. All right, now here we have another multiple, the 8, 8, 9. So I would try to hoard consecutive tiles around 8, 9 now. We have tiles we can pass. We have here East 3, 4. We have 8, 9 in cracks, so the red dragon probably will be a good keeper. Maybe the white if we get 8, 9 in BAMs. I think this, maybe we could let the 6 dot go instead. 6 dot, here we go. That would be a little bit more defensive. Okay, now we have a 7, 7, 8, 9. So this hand is turning consecutive. So here we have 3 tiles to pass, or we have 6 discards right now, but we might be able to use that red dragon if we can get flowers, but we'll see. Everybody wants to keep going. We definitely can keep going. So let's do North 1, 3. We want to hoard consecutive tiles. I think that's as defensive as we can get. I don't like to pass white dragons, so we're going to keep it. We have West 2, 5. Really, the 5 might be helpful for big odds, but we have a pair of 8s, so I probably would let that go. West 2, 5. We'll let that go. Be wonderful to get a flower. People typically don't pass flowers. All right, we have East. Let's keep passing on this 4, 6 here. That's not too bad. Better than passing 3, 4 or 3, 6. 6, 4 is not bad. Let's see here. Yeah. I was thinking there's still some 3, 6, 9 potential in there, but it's weak. Plus we have a pair of 8s. All right, we have another 9. There's another 9. And we have tiles we can pass here. 3, 4 south. They want 3. We have 9s and 8, 9. 7, 8, 9, 9. We have potential for like numbers with 9s and flowers. Or I mean not flowers, dragons. I think I would risk passing 3. Let's see if we can get another a potential keeper here. This is a little bit risky, doing 3, 4. We're just waiting for the player on our left. So at the moment, we could maybe play like numbers with 9s and dragons, or 7, 8, 9 if we get flowers. That's a big gap though. 7, 8, 9 dragon with flowers, but that's a con gap, so I would probably make that a lower priority. I'm hoping to get a keeper here. No keepers. All right, so we're probably going to be an underdog on this game. We have 5 discards and consecutive tiles with multiples. So we'll just play it out and see how it goes.
East wind.
Watch the discards. So we're going to let the north go. We got a 7, 7, 8, 9. Clearly we need to use 7, 8, 9.
West wind.
If we can get flowers, that would fill again. We could play that second hand from the bottom.
South wind.
Thankfully we can use jokers. Maybe we'll get
North
jokers.
wind.
Oh, and then we get a white dragon. Okay. Let's let the 1 crack go.
1 character.
All right, now we need to think this through, because we could
West
maybe
wind.
switch to like numbers with 9s. Either way, we have
4
2 pair
dots.
that we're going to have to let go of. If we play 7, 8, 9 red dragon, we're going to need to let go of a pair of 9 bams and a pair of white dragons. If we play like
3
numbers with
dots.
9s and dragons, we'd have to let go of 7,
2
8
characters.
pairs. So either way, we're going to have to break up 2 pair. We still have a discard before we have to make a choice. If a 9 crack goes down, we're going to have to make a decision. Oh, actually, either way, we can pung it.
6 characters.
Because in the case of the Kong hand with dragons and flowers, we need a pung of 9s and then the like number hand would use a pung of nines. So if the 9 crack goes down, we could still pung
5
and play either
bamboos.
hand. It'd be nice to get a flower or a 9.
North wind.
A flower, a red dragon would be nice
3
too, I guess, but then
bamboos.
we'd still be in the same position. So I think it'd be nice to get either a flower or a 9 dot. Specific tiles, a joker would be nice too though.
3 characters. 6 characters.
So we're, okay, 5 we don't need. Let's let the 8 dot go. So
8
let's
dots.
see, we're still in, we're in
4
the,
dots.
probably still at the end of the begin game. We're still early on. We're heading
6
into the
bamboos.
middle game. We have 1
South
discard
wind.
before we really have to make a choice. Well, 2 if
3
you if you count the
bamboos.
drawn tile.
4 bamboos.
So if anything goes down, maybe that 9 crack we could pung. If we had a flower, I would consider holding off calling the 9 because we could maybe play
3
that third hand
bamboos.
down and use jokers. Third hand down, 1 suit, Kongs.
5 dots.
Okay, 5 dot went down and there's a hesitation there. So since that 5 dot went down, actually look at what we got here. 5, 7, 7, 9 potential there. The white dragons, okay, I think the 5 should go.
5
We're
dots.
still thinking about maybe playing like numbers with 9s and dragons. That's why we're keeping the white dragons.
3 characters.
So we're still in between consecutive run and like numbers with
8
9s.
bamboos.
We have 1 discard right now.
4 bamboos.
Oh, west we don't need clearly.
West wind. 7 bamboos.
There's a hesitation there.
Pung.
Okay, we got a pung.
1
So they
dot.
have a 5 bam in front of them. 7 is out. 6, 8 and bams are out.
8 dots.
Ooh, 8 crack. Okay. So now there's a pung. I would let the 7 dot go
7 dots.
and probably
Pung.
focus on these cracks, 7, 8, 9.
bamboos.
If we can get a 6 crack, we could maybe play
East
pung
wind.
kong in 1 suit, 5th hand down on the
6
left.
characters.
Okay, 6 dot. I think we should let that go. Now here's something
6
I think
dots.
about when I see pungs out like this. They could be playing like numbers with dragons. There are no dragons out
4
at all.
characters.
So because we have a pung with 8s, I'm gonna escalate these
2
dragons.
characters.
And we're going to let these go now because these are going to be more and more risky as the game progresses. And if they're playing like numbers with dragons, they're going to need pairs. So
7 dots.
we're going to let the dragons go now.
Red
And that's
dragon.
primarily because we have no flowers. Here
1 bamboo.
we might be able to pung the 7, Kong the
4
8, Kong the
characters.
9 with the joker. We still have a gap, no 6 crack. There's 1 out.
4 dots.
Okay, we're going to let this dragon go. Now that we have a
Right-dragon.
9 crack pung in there, we can define this joker as a 6. I'm hoping nobody needs that for a mahjong. Okay, now here we
East
have
wind.
north. There was a big hesitation on that dragon. I think somebody's playing like numbers with dragons. So we're going to discard this
1
white dragon
bamboo.
right now with our next pick.
4 dots. White dragon.
Okay, so now we're at 52 tiles remaining. There's that hesitation again. Hopefully it's not for mahjong. Okay, someone's playing like
South
numbers, I
wind.
think. I mean, they could be playing 5, 7, 9 dragon, I suppose. Third hand from the bottom.
1 dot.
The player here on the right. This player across from us could be playing
5
6, 7, 6,
characters.
7 dragon. 6, 7, 6, 7 bam, 6, 7 crack, and then white dragons. Let's see, 4 crack. We need to start thinking about the end game. This 4 crack is going to be a safe tile. No 9s are out. We're focused on 6, 7, 8, 9. I think we should let the 9 dot go.
9 dots.
We want to start throwing away the risky tiles. That's a fresh tile right there.
Kong.
Okay, so the player across from us is not playing
1
like
dot.
numbers. They're playing either 6, 7, 8, 9, pung, pung, kong, kong,
3
or
dots.
5, 7, 7, 9. So they would need 5 bam
North wind.
and then 7 dot, but the player on the right has that. I bet they're playing
2
6,
bamboos.
7, 8, 9 bams and dots. 6, 7, 8, 9, that's my guess, because of the 7 dots. And the 7 dots were
3
out before the
characters.
9s, so that's why I think they're playing consecutive. The challenge
1
is
character.
they discarded a 6 bam, so I could be wrong. Okay, now here's an interesting tile. 5 crack. 1 is out. We might be able to switch to 5 through 9,
9
but we would need a
bamboos.
pair of 6s, which we don't have.
East
That's a pair
wind.
gap, and there are 2 6 cracks out. So probably
6 bamboos.
we probably, okay, now they threw a 6 bam again.
5
They're playing 5,
characters.
7, 7, 9. They're going to need a bunch of jokers because the 7 dots are out. And
9
because there
bamboos.
are 3 6 cracks out, so we can't play that 5, 7, 9
5
hand.
bamboos.
There are 2 5 cracks out, so it appears that nobody wants those. So that probably will be a safe
9
discard.
bamboos.
We're going to need 2 jokers for the
9
6s.
dots.
Unless we get a flower, we could instead switch to the Kong hand.
2 bamboos.
Okay, 6 dot is out. The 1 bam will be a good safe tile. We're in the end game, so we want to think about safe discards. And
Safe
because
dot.
we have 4 discards, we probably are on the more defense side than we are playing to win, especially
1
because
dot.
our 6s are out and we have no flowers. That could turn on a dime though. If we get a flower,
9
we could play the
bamboos.
Kong hand since we don't have any exposures. We're very flexible right now.
1 character.
We just need a flower, and there it is. Okay, so
3
now
dots.
I would give up on that 6, 7, 8, 9 hand. We're going to undefine
South
this, and now we can use that to help us with our
wind.
Kongs,
3 characters.
and we're in the running now because now we have 3 discards, and they're safe, I think. It'd be ideal to get a flower.
Flower.
Oh, there it goes. Flower. Pass. The player on our right, maybe? No? Okay, there's another joker. That'll be
5
helpful.
characters.
We're in the
4
running now.
bamboos.
We can Kong these. None of these are out right now.
6 characters.
There goes the last 6 crack. Anytime someone hesitates like that, I think they're going to release a fresh tile.
9 characters.
There it is. Okay, we're going to Kong.
Kong.
In the end game, when there's a big hesitation like
4
that, they're
characters.
probably contemplating, or they're counting the cost. They're trying to decide, do I
dots.
really want to throw a fresh tile right now? Thankfully, they did.
3 dots.
Okay, so if we draw a flower, that would be ideal. There's only 1 out, and we're left with 1 good discard. 3 1 bams are out.
2 characters.
Okay, green dragon. This is the riskiest tile we have. We're letting it go now because we are now playing to win.
Green dragon.
And there's a hesitation. The player on our left, maybe. Or the player on our right. They could be playing, okay, there's the player on the left. And we have a joker exchange opportunity there.
2 bamboos.
There's our flower.
1 bamboo.
And now we're semi-stealth mode. We have 1 exposure. Nobody knows what we need. We're ready
8
on 1 of 2
bamboos.
tiles. 7 crack or 8 crack. The challenge is those are both fresh tiles.
4 characters.
So our opponents are going to need to count the cost, discarding a fresh tile
2 bamboos.
in the end game.
1 character.
We're going to play to win.
3 bamboos.
7 crack or 8 crack to win.
Green dragon.
Oh, they got a joker.
5 characters.
Oh, we got a winner. Aha, they have our tiles. Okay, so here we have, like, what is this? A year hand with dragons. That is a pretty hand. So we have a year hand with dragons. Over here, they have our tiles. So they're playing defense here. They have 5, 7, 9. They probably were hoping for 7 dots, but of course they were out. They were going to need lots of jokers, but then they got stuck with fresh tiles, which were our tiles. And so they were probably playing defense. Over here we have 5, 6, 7 dragon. 5, 6, 7 dragon. They were close. They needed to pung the white dragon, Kong the flower. They had just 1 discard. All right, and we got ready to win, which was good. Anybody have any questions about strategy by wall? That's how I play. You really have to, I think it is, and let's see here, it can be a little bit overwhelming to new players, but if you compartmentalize the phases of the game, it's not so overwhelming. You just need to think about, okay, I'm in the begin game. These are my strategies for the begin game. Then when you get into the third wall, you're in the middle game. You focus on those middle game strategies. And then the end game, same idea. So you compartmentalize those strategies. I think where it becomes complex is when you think about what's being discarded and what's being exposed, and how that changes the decision making with the strategies for whichever phase of the game you're in, and whether or not you're going to play to win or switch to defense. So there's a lot to think about, which is really why we love this game. It's complex and it keeps you on your toes. It's what keeps us coming back for more. It keeps us coming back for more. The game that keeps you coming back for more. That's Mahjong. Maybe that would be a good slogan on a t-shirt. A good graphic tee. Mahjong. The game that keeps you coming back for more. What do you think? We can chit chat while we're waiting for someone to sit at the table here. We need a player. Hopefully we'll get to play at least 2 more games. And we'll focus on strategy by wall. And I'm hoping too we'll have a good example of joker bait too. Merch. Okay, let's see what we have to work with. We have 1, 2, 3 in bams with a pair of 3s. 1, 2, 5, 6 in cracks with a pair of 1s. 4, 6 in dots with a pair of 4s. We have 3 multiples. They don't all go together. We have potential for 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, or little odds 1, 3, 5. If I'm in this situation, I'll go with consecutive because it's much more flexible. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the bigger numbers will go. The challenge is we have 5, 6. I don't pass like numbers. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. I think one of the ones can go. We have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 4. So I think one of the ones can go. We're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to just gather tiles. 1, 2, 3, 4. With or without dragons. I don't think dragons are going to help us. Unless we do, if we were to have done 1, 2, 1, 2 dragon. But that's not going to work here. We just gave away the 1. And our pairs with a 1. And here's the 1 crack. And here's a red dragon. So I think I would let it go. Maybe even keep the 9 and give away the 6. This 9 might be a better tile for the next pass. So right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now here's a 2, 2, 3. Here's 2, 3, 1, 2, and 4. And we do have tiles we can pass. So you might think, well, why not pass 2 wins? I really try not to do that because there's news all over the Wind and Dragon category. There's a pair hand and there's a 30-point hand with wins, like news. So I try not to pass wins like that. I would rather let something go. So I think maybe this 2 crack can go. If we can get a 5 dot, I would sacrifice the 1s and do 2, 3, 4, 5. Here we have a 1 dot. I don't think that's going to be helpful. We should definitely keep going. Right now, we have 4 discards and our category. We're playing category level. We haven't picked a hand. So I would not pass 2 wins together here. I'd probably let this 1 dot go. We have 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then a 4. So let's just keep gathering. Here's a 5. So we have 3, 4, 5 now. 3, 4, 5. And we have, here's a 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 5, and a 4. 2 wins. We have to pass 3. So let's let the West go. We could maybe do 2, 3, 4, 5. I think the 5 can go. And then maybe this 1 crack. We'll break up the 1. We have 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 if we can get a 5 dot. We got a 6. Not helpful though. All right, so now this 1 crack clearly can go, and this will be a fine discard. Really, I think the 6 and maybe the East. 1, 6 East, that's a pretty good pass. Oh, we got a 3. We can keep it. We might be able to use it. We could do 1, 2 in BAMs, 3, 4 in dots. They want 2 tiles. We can do 2. So let's pass 9 in West. We have a 1. Oh, here's a BAM. 1, 2, 3 dragon.
East wind.
We have a south here. We can clearly let that go. Okay,
South
so now we
wind.
have 2, 3 pair pung. And then we have this pair of 4 dots. It'd be very nice if we can draw a 5 dot.
6 bamboo.
We could play 2, 3, 4, 5 and use all the multiples. Well, I would not take that. We don't even know what hand we're playing yet. I wouldn't make an exposure if you don't know what hand you're
1
playing.
character.
Okay, this is in our range. 4 crack. I would let go of the 9. So
9
now we have all
bamboos.
1, 2, 3, 4. And we're just going to whittle down.
West wind.
We could do 1, 2, 3 dragon if we get flowers.
1
We do have a
bamboo.
joker. We could identify that as a flower. What we have to think about at the moment is 2, 1 bams are down. We need a pair there if we play that dragon hand, second hand from the bottom under consecutive run.
9 bamboos.
Oh, 4 crack again. Look at that. 2, 4 cracks now. Okay, so I think the 1 dot can go.
1 dot.
So we have 4, 4, 3, 3, a
1
dragon.
character.
I think really the kicker is
West
going to
wind.
be this 1 bam. If the 1 bam goes down again, then I think maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 pung kong. And clearly we have a gap. We need either a 5 dot or a
2
5
characters.
crack. So we'll just keep gathering.
9 bamboos.
It's not over till it's over. It's not over till the last tile is
9
discarded
characters.
or someone says mahjong.
1 character.
South wind.
There's a 5 crack. That's a keeper. Let's let this, let's see, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's let the 3 dot go. Probably this green
3
dragon
dots.
can go. And at this point, we have no gaps
South
for
wind.
2, 3, 4, 5, pung,
6
pung,
bamboos.
kong, kong. We're a little light with the Kong tiles, so we need to build up. And we have potential
2
joker bait with the
characters.
4 dot. Okay, now there's a 3, green dragon. Green dragon. I
1
think I would let go
bamboo.
of the 1 bam though, because 2 are out and we have no flowers. So
North
we have
wind.
joker bait with the 4 dot and the green dragon.
2 dots.
We're going to hold on to it until the middle of the middle game. So that's going to
8
be
bamboos.
right about above the 4 or 5, or above the 5 crack, let's say. We would need
6
to
characters.
discard, well, really about where the break in the wall is will be the middle of the
4
middle
bamboos.
game. So that's when we should let either the 4 or the green go. There are no dragons
1
out.
dot.
So I think I would let the greens go first.
4 bamboos.
Okay, east is out. We
East
have
wind.
maybe 2 more picks before we need to let go of one of these sets of joker bait here. I was
8
hoping that we would have a
bamboos.
good example
East
of this
wind.
strategy.
4 bamboos.
Okay, we need a, 3, 3, 4, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5. All right, that's a discard. We don't need that 3.
3 characters.
We can give somebody a chance to build up their need for these tiles
8
here.
dots.
Maybe we'll get a joker out of it. We could pung the 2 bam, Kong the 4
4
crack.
bamboos.
We just need help with the 5.
8 bamboos.
Red dragon. No. Okay, let's let it go and let's see what happens at the table.
Red dragon.
There's a hesitation. Somebody at the table wants dragons.
5 dots.
1 dot.
It might be the player on the right because they hesitated picking up that tile from the wall.
2 dots.
Okay, 7 bam. All right. Now
7
we're in
bamboos.
that place where we're in the middle of the middle wall.
7 dots.
So we need to let go of these fresh tiles here. We have 2 sets of joker bait.
West wind.
It's a bit risky holding on to these fresh tiles going
2
into the
dots.
end game. Oh my goodness, look at that. Let's let 1 go.
Green dragon.
Oh, nobody wanted it. Okay, so we're going to escalate those.
White dragon.
There go the dragons now.
North wind.
5 characters.
Okay, we have probably, oh, that's our tile. We can't take it.
Pung.
Oh.
Red dragon.
Okay, so they just punged our tile. We have 2, 3, so now I would think maybe we can do 4,
1
5
dot.
with dots. Let's let the dragons go
Green
first.
dragon.
I'm almost glad we haven't discarded those 4s, because
8
now we
dots.
can maybe use 4 dot, 5 dot. There's a 5 dot out, but that's better than 5
4
cracks.
characters.
We would need 3 jokers there. Okay, we're gonna pass. And that's because there's a pung of 5 cracks over there.
9
We need to let go of
characters.
this green dragon.
Green dragon.
So now we have a pair of 7 bams. 1 is out though, so it's probably
Flower.
not going to be a good keeper. Also, the 4 crack went down and nobody
9
wanted it.
characters.
At this point, we're heading into the end game and we
6
have 5
characters.
discards, so probably we need to switch to defense.
Red dragon.
If anyone's playing like numbers with dragons, they're in trouble because all the dragons are down now.
6 characters.
Pung.
Okay, 5,
7
6.
bamboos.
So they're playing 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe in dots or cracks. 7, 8 in dots or cracks. We're going to pass. Nobody wanted that, so that'll be, oops, Yeah, that'll be safe
6
for
dot.
later in the game. 9 dot should be safe. Let's discard, let's see, 9 bam, I guess. I don't know,
9
maybe.
bamboos.
I don't think I would play to win here. I think
3
with 5
characters.
discards, probably defense at this
9
point.
dots.
I was still
Pawn.
thinking maybe we could play 4, 5 in cracks and just hope for
North wind.
jokers, but I don't
8
like
bamboos.
hoping for jokers. It's such, that's just screams desperation, doesn't
8
it?
characters.
Now if we get
Kong.
that 6 crack, oh, there's 6, 7, 8, 9,
9
1
characters.
suit Kongs. Let's
5
see, 5
bamboos.
crack, 5 dot, 1 is out. We still don't have to decide.
Pawn.
We have discards. Okay, now they need, oh, this is
White
interesting.
dragon.
They need a 7 crack, and these two
Flower.
players both need 7 cracks. This may be a wall game. They're fighting for the same
White
tiles.
dragon.
Oh, look, we got a 5 dot.
7 bamboos.
Okay, so these can go now that we filled a gap. Oh, there we go. 5, oh, they got there first. They drew a joker. Well, yeah, they had to, because there's 7 cracks right there. So we have 5, 7, 9 mixed suit Kongs. That's a nice win. 5, 7, 9 mixed suit Kongs. And then here we have 6, 7, or 5, 6, 7, 8 Pung Pung Kong Kong ready on a 7, but they had a competitor. Over here we have, let's see, what were they doing? I think maybe defense here. I'm not sure. And then of course here we're trying for 2, 3, 4, 5, and we just filled a gap in the end game. All right, shall we try one more game? Is everybody up for one more game? We have about 10 minutes. Hopefully, if we don't have to wait too long, we could maybe try to play one more game. Thank you. We came a long way with that one. We were an underdog there. Okay, so let's see if we can fill this seat and then play a quick game. Games are about 15 minutes on this platform. Maybe we can get a win and end on a high note. That would be nice. Well, we have multiples, but they don't go together necessarily. Let's see. We have a flower, 1, 6, 7, 8 in bams, 2, 4, 5 in cracks with a pair of 4s, 5, 7, 8 in dots with a pair of 8s. 4, 8 are evens, so I would play an even hand. That would use 2 multiples, so we're going to let the odds go. So we'll do the 5, let's do the 7, 1, 7, 5. Actually, let's do one of each suit here. Wait a minute. Maybe we could do the 7 bam, or this, yeah, 7 bam. We're playing evens. That would use 2 multiples. There is some consecutive there with 6, 7, 8. That's why I hesitated. And there's a 7, but we're committed. We need to stick with it here. Let's see. Let's do, maybe it'll come back around though. Let's do 3, 5, 9. They're all odd, so it's a bit risky. We need to focus on building our hand as the highest priority though. 7, 8, 9. I think we had equal potential, even though the multiple is with the 4. But, you know, for example, we could play 2, 4, 6, 8, third hand down on the right, 3 suits. But it's weak, although now we have another multiple. And so now it's not weak, it's actually strong with 1 tile. Now we have multiples and no gaps right there. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 3 suits, third hand down on the right. I would keep the evens still, but we have like numbers with 7s, and I would not pass that. So I would let the 4 dot go here. So we're playing 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, pung pung, Kong, 6 bam, Kong, 8 dot. Here we have a 4. Let's see if we have discards here. These would be a little bit risky. We're definitely going to keep going. We have 3, 7, 9. It's a little bit risky with 7, 9 in 1 suit. Really, we probably could maybe mitigate some risk there by letting the 4 bam go. but 3-4 is risky too. At least 7-9 is on the edge. Those are edge tiles, so let's let those go. The 4 is in the middle of the sequence, so it's a more efficient. We did get an 8 and a 2. Here's 2, 4, 6, 8 now. 2, 4, 6, 8 in one suit, so we could maybe switch there. And we have to pass, so we have to make a choice now. We have 2, 4, 6, 8. We're in between 2, 4, 6, 8 in one suit or 2, 4, 6, 8 in 3 suits. I think I would play the 3 suit one and break up the 8. 2, 8, 9. Okay, let's do that. There's another hand here. Second hand from the bottom under 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, pair pung, 4, 6, pair pung, Kong with the 8. We could do that hand too. And we do have tiles we can pass. So we're looking at either the second hand from the bottom or the third hand on the right. Either way, we don't need flowers. That doesn't mean I would pass it though. We're going to let these go. Let's see how many our opponent wants. Now the challenge with that second hand from the bottom is we need pairs of a 2 crack and 4 bam, and we don't have either of those. So I would not commit to that hand until one of those pairs is in my hand. Otherwise, I would probably focus on that third hand down on the right instead, because at least we can use jokers. I would discard the riskiest tile. Oh, south. I would let the south go first.
South wind.
And then next, I think I would discard this flower.
9 bamboos.
Because with both of our options, we don't need flowers. We could Kong the 8.
South wind.
We could Kong the 8 regardless. The 6 bam and the 4 crack, if they go down, we could let it go.
9
for
bamboos.
now. We need to secure one of these
Flower.
pair tiles first before we commit. The 8 dot probably is the only one I would
8
call
bamboos.
for. We have 3
1
discards, which
bamboo.
was a really good Charleston.
8 bamboos.
Ooh, there's a keeper.
7 bamboos.
We're actually set for the third hand down on the right. We could pung with the joker and the 2, pung the 4, Kong the 6,
1
Kong the 8.
bamboo.
That could even be a pure hand maybe. Let's just wait.
6
We have discards, so
characters.
we really don't have to pick a hand yet. Let's just see what goes down.
9 dots.
Okay, 7 bam is out.
7 bamboos. 2 bamboos.
We're playing either the third hand down under evens
West
on the
wind.
right or the second hand from the bottom.
Flower.
We need a keeper. That's not a keeper.
East wind. 2 bamboos. Green dragon.
A lot of 7, 8, 9 are
3
down in those
dots.
bams. Look at all those bams out there. And probably no one's playing 2, 4, 6, 8 in bams, which is good for us because we need that 4 if we play that second hand from the bottom.
Seven bamboos.
Okay, so that's an interesting
6
discard.
dots.
They're probably playing an odd hand in mixed suits.
7 bamboos.
They threw that 7 bam from way over
6
here.
bamboos.
It'll be interesting. Okay, now we have to make a choice. I think we should go ahead and Kong.
Kong.
We'll let go of the outside tile.
1 character.
And then this 4 bam can go next. We're
6
ready to pung
dots.
and Kong here. And the reason I chose that third hand on the right is because we did not have
3
our
characters.
pairs. And that was the weakness for that second hand from the bottom. And they're equal value.
6 dots.
There's a joker. That would
4
be a keeper.
bamboos. 9 dots. 5 bamboos.
Oh, they're definitely, well, they could be
2
playing
characters.
consecutive, I suppose. That's a pung for us.
Pung.
And now, of course, people
3
are going to be able to
characters.
tell what we're playing 2, 4, 6, 8, one of
North
2
wind.
ways. But we're ready on one of 2 tiles now. And it's still the middle game. So people might think, oh, surely she's not ready yet.
Green dragon.
But we're clearly in a 2, 4, 6,
5
8 hand.
dots.
And with American Mahjong, when you have 2 exposures, everyone's going to know what you're playing most of the time with 2 exposures. And that's okay.
West wind.
You just have to count the cost if you want to have those exposures out. I think it's early enough
5
in the game.
bamboos.
And we can use any number of jokers, so I think the risk is worth it.
7 characters.
And it's going to force our opponents
2 characters.
to consider defense. We're
2
heading towards a pure
bamboos.
game at this point.
3 bamboos.
A pure hand. We have only 1 joker at the moment.
1 bamboo.
I don't know if I would force it though. I think I'd rather win.
9 bamboos.
So we're ready on 1 of 2 tiles.
8 bamboos.
If
9
we would draw
characters.
our winning tile, we would still get double
Pung.
value.
Flower.
And we're still in the middle game, but we're heading into the end game here after like 3 more
Flower.
picks. So I don't think I would force a pure hand in
6
this
characters.
particular phase at the moment.
4 dots.
That might be the
Pung.
player on our left. Ooh, and there's a
2
joker
dots.
too. Okay, there's a potential for a joker exchange over there. A 2 dot, the player across from us. Maybe thinking about that, because clearly the player on our right is not going to use a 2 dot. So that hesitation is this player across from us. I hope we're not stuck. There we go. We got Mahjong. So there's a winner for the last game of this live stream. 2, 4, 6, 8, pung, pung, kong, kong, 3 suits, 3rd hand down under evens on the right. And jokers did help, of course, in this case. Well, most of the times they help regardless. Okay, so here we have probably 5 through 9, and then they were maybe holding the red dragon for joker bait. I would think the reds were fresh tiles, so they probably needed to get rid of those pretty quick. Although in this case, nobody needed them. Here we have 1, 3, 5, maybe, or 1, 2, 3 kongs, I think is what I would do here. 1, 2, 3 kongs because of the flowers. And then here we have news with like numbers, 4s. We had a competitor for the tiles right there, 4 crack and 4 crack. So we needed the joker. All right, that's going to do it for this live stream. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the thumbs up. I really appreciate it. That really helps our channel. As far as these likes and subscribers, that tells YouTube that you all like the channel. So please share with your friends so that we could all help grow the community together. The more the merrier. Thank you, moderators, again for being here. I hope you all had a great time. I always do. And we'll be back on Friday night for the Simply Social Let's Play live stream where we chillax and hang out. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, consider subscribing. Click the little gray bell if you do. That way you'll get notification for when I post new videos, and you won't miss an opportunity to learn a new strategy or pick up an insight to the game that could give you an advantage at the table. Between now and the next video, may all your picks be keepers.